Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Voices of the Goddess podcast. I am Julietta, the magical PT, and I'm joined by...
Hey, everybody. Allison Mancini, your holistic nutritionist. And we are so excited this morning. We have an amazing guest. We are here with Chaitali Desai, and she is a business intuitive coach. And major emphasis on the intuitive. She's amazing. But I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell our audience a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Julietta and Allison, for having me on this morning. It's so exciting. I love talking to people, and this Zoom has revolutionized socializing. We can still be apart yet together at the same time, so it's fabulous. So thank you so much. And, oh gosh, I have a really colorful background. As I was telling you guys earlier, I started in the world of molecular genetics and medical technology. Then I became a corporate wife and a mother of two. So for a long time, I was a stay-at-home mom who was trying to slowly find herself again. I was so busy being a mom that I kind of left all of my personality to the side. And then as the kids got older, I was like, there has to be something that I can be doing. So I started looking, and for a while, I started a wedding planning business, and that was quite successful, and it was taking off, and we got the corporate call to move overseas. So we took that opportunity and we were off. For about 7 years, we were overseas. And when we returned to the US, I live on Long Island, New York now, I was like, okay, now I really have this travel bug. You can't live overseas and not want to go back, right? So I was like, okay, how can I continue to live a laptop lifestyle? So I started doing the Google. We were best friends for a while, and I was like, okay, I am gonna sit down and I'm gonna learn how to code and do all this programming stuff. Well, that's not what life had in store for me. Instead, life was like, nope, we're gonna try doing this network marketing because there's something in there that's gonna really speak to you. At the time, I was ignorance on fire because I didn't even know it was an industry, but I was like, I'm gonna go for it because it sounds fun and I can do it from anywhere, which was my main driver, and still be present for my family because I'm the emotional rock, as many moms are, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, so one thing led to another into network marketing, and all of a sudden I got to use all the different facets of my personality. As you mentioned, I am quite intuitive. I'm a master NLP practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive tarot reader, and I am also certified in EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, tapping to help release stress, to help relieve. It's just all the stuff we hold in our body because science has caught up with the spiritual, and we have been holding on to things for over 7 generations. Mm-hmm. And it's led me into this whole coaching aspect. And Allison and I are friends, but we're also co-workers. We both belong into the world of the Gold Digger Girl. And I am a coach there where I am actively helping students become online business entrepreneurs, taking everything that we've learned from Kimberly, how to show up authentically, how to speak, how to be live on camera, everything from A to Z. So I think in a nutshell, that covers everything I'm up to. I don't think I missed anything, right?
No. Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. Wow.
That was incredible. And I love how you said about the stay-at-home mom, and you do kind of lose yourself in that. And it's not a bad thing. It's just what it is at the time. And I'm so grateful for those years I also had as a stay-at-home mom. But I really appreciate you sharing that with our goddesses, because here on our podcast for Voices of the Goddess, we are all about supporting the goddesses out there and helping them become all that they can be, while also supporting you and everything that you're doing. So I really appreciate you being here today. And I love all that you are doing. I wish I had the time to get all those certifications because I would definitely do it.
Me and my mobile phone, I put that bad boy to use every day.
Right. That's right. And then, yes, Chaitali and I are good friends, and we also do know each other because we work for the Gold Digger Girl, and she does incredible things. And yes, I wouldn't be doing these lives like this probably if it weren't for her, right? So very grateful for that. Okay, so we're going to dive right into our questions. And our first question is, what do you feel your superpower is, or what would it be if you had one?
Okay, so I love this question because it really made me think. My superpower is my curiosity. And I always say I'm a super curious person, but it didn't hit, like I didn't make the connection until yesterday on my meditative walk. I'm an active person. You can see I talk a lot with my hands, as annoying as that can be for the person looking at me. But as I was walking, I was thinking about this. I'm always talking about how curious I am. And it turns out, if you are this curious person, you are directly an open-minded person. They are hand in hand because you cannot be curious about life and not be open-minded to learn new things. Mm-hmm. So my superpower is curiosity. How can I learn more, do better, be better, fix things, so to speak? My superhero is Tinkerbell, my favorite Disney character. And while she's not a princess, I see her as the queen because she has led the way for so many people to come into the world. If you take Disney of past and Disney of today, I think the bridge was Tinkerbell. She was like, nope, I'm going to figure this out. Did it work the first time? Not usually. We all know she had a temper, but she came back at it and she was curious. How am I going to improve it? How am I going to do better? And you can see that transition in Disney also. They're bringing out all of the innate gift their female characters had, and now they're showing them. Mm-hmm. And so my superpower is curiosity. And I sound amazed by that because it's something that I say often, but I never connected it until this moment in time.
Okay, so I just look at Tinkerbell in a whole new light now, right?
What's her?
I know. Yeah. But it's true. And you think about it, it's funny because Tinkerbell was my favorite when I was a little girl. And I think the part I liked about her was that she was so determined all the time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So determined, but in a positive way. She was able, look, we're women. There's a lot on our plate at any given time. We are juggling so many different things. She was able to take her frustration, her anger, because she is kind of hot-headed. I'm sure we all remember that. Mm-hmm. And harness that and use it for good. That blows my mind. Mm-hmm. To be able to say okay, I don't get this, but here, I'm going to try again. And as women, don't you feel like that is something that we innately do? Talking about it now, it's conscious, but unconsciously, it's definitely something that we're always about. And we're like, okay, I have 30 things on my to-do list. I have 29 minutes. Let's go. And you figure it out. Mm-hmm. And that's a superpower that we as women have. I'm sure men have it too. And I don't want to negate that. But I just feel, talking about it, if you can tell, I'm getting more and more excited about this. But I just think if we can just own that about our personality, gosh, how different do you approach your day? And then how that ripple effect, how you knowing that, okay, I might be a little bit frustrated right now, but I'm going to figure this out. The next person you meet, you indirectly affect them and they indirectly affect the next person. I need to take a minute there.
Well, go ahead, Juliana.
No, I was just going to say the butterfly effect, everything just ripples through.
Yes,
it does. And I think it's interesting because I think back to over a year ago when I actually first met Kimberly and we were talking on the phone. I had got a coaching call with her and I don't know, it was something about, and you've got the same energy from you as you talk about it. It was something about what she said that I, in my head went, yeah, I can figure out anything. I can do it if I just keep going at it and work on it. And that's kind of what led me all the way to where we are now, because Julietta and I, back in September, we were like, okay, how can we help other women? How can we promote the women? All of us are struggling. We're going through so much right in that time of the pandemic, but just in general, as women, we, just like you just said, we have 30 things on our to-do list and 29 minutes to do it in. And so we want to figure out a way. And we were both like, and I think I looked at her and I'm like, I've always wanted to do a podcast. She's like, let's do it. I'm like, okay, I have no idea what we're doing, but we're like, we're going to figure this out. We're going to make it happen. And we did. We were determined. And it was helpful because we had each other to kind of push each other along for sure. But even other things that I know, there's things that Kimberly has said to me, hey, do you think you can do that? And in my head, I'm like, I have no idea, but yes, I can figure that out. Right? Like, yes, I can do it. I can do it. So
everything is figure-outable.
It is figure-outable. Okay, let's move on to our next question. And our next question is, and might be I'm finding this to be difficult for a lot of our guests, Julietta, because I can't narrow it down to just one, and that's okay. But what is your favorite book or the book that has impacted you the most?
Oh my. What book have I reread a million times? So many, but I will tell you, I think it started when I read The Alchemist. I know you guys are reading it in your...
That's our book club book.
The book club book, right? And I commented on it. That book is brilliant. Because as you're reading it, you're thinking that this is a love affair between him and somebody else. But then when you stop, he is telling the story of what is going on internally. It's an external, right? So within, so without, that's the saying goes. And so as he's starting to really develop his character, he's starting to really find himself. And I think that's that whole process that we go through when we go from like being a single woman just out in the world, then you get married and you're like, okay, now you have to figure this part out. And then you have kids and nobody tells you what's about to happen, that you love them so much, and the only thought process is like, how am I going to take care of the kids today? How am I going to do this? And you slowly forget that you are also a person. And then all of a sudden you come back out and you're like, oh. And it's almost, that book does very similar. But one other book that is profound for me, and the first time I read it, I believe I was a freshman in college. It's Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. I know I'm a child at heart if it's not coming out, but that book was another book. From the time you learn to walk, the life's transitions in between, and at the end, if you keep going, you won't fail. I don't know what it was. It's a child's book, and I read it for the first time in university. But at this stage in my life, it's still a gift I give people. I think that book is brilliant because it really, he breaks down life into its most simplest terms, and it's fun to read and it's easy to read, and you can sit with your child and talk about these different aspects. So between those two books, if I had to pick one, I'm going to say it's Dr. Seuss, and just right behind it is The Alchemist. They have a similar theme.
Nice.
We have had
children's books come up quite a few times on this show. So, yeah. And we've talked about this before too, that, everybody like thinks the children books are just the story, but like there is so much meaning in there if you let it set in. And so love that. And how much easier can the reading be? You can sit and read that in a few minutes.
Yeah, but it's just fascinating to me.
And what if we talked, Julietta, I forget who it was that we interviewed, but we talked about, I know what it is. You don't really understand something until you can explain it on the level of a child, right? And that's kind of the same, flip that of the children's books. And I think that's so fascinating and such a good way to look at it, because you think about when you're dealing, and I know Julietta, in your work setting, you deal with children, and for Chaitali and I with our kids, you do have to talk differently. And it is much simpler, not in a bad way, but it's just simpler to understand. So I think, we talk all the time about telling stories. And I think when you're trying to get stuff across to people, to be able to tell a story that's understandable is like a huge skill, right? To have.
Oh yeah, there's a whole art to storytelling. I was talking about it in the academy recently, like how you develop that story. I'm not a writer, but I'm fascinated with oral communication in terms of how can I convey my truth so that you can see yourself in that story, right? Yeah. So the art of storytelling is simplistic yet profound. So if you can take a story that's so complicated, like life, and be able to bring it down to a child's level of vocabulary, of rhythm, of all of it, well, it's just profound to me. And that book I come back to so often, to the point where I even gifted it to my mom because she had come to help me with the kids once. And that was the book I would read to them every night. So she was helping me one evening and she read the book. And then she's like, I need to buy this book. Did you see this part in the story? My mom is turning 70 this year. So you can see that even for her, when she read this book, and it's probably about 10 years now, like her eyes were wide open and she's like, I'm in this stage of my life and look at what it's teaching me. And I was like, oh my God, yes, this book. So of course I gifted it to her, but I think it's just amazing what it can do. And it's something, again, that you can connect with the kids on, between the colorfulness of it, the imagery and the words.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, we've talked about that too in our interviews. There's some even books that have been, I don't want to say translated, but have been rewritten in a child's version so that you could actually read it to your kids and get the same context and idea behind it as, for them on their level as what you're reading. And I forget what's one of the books. What was the book that we were talking about? I can't remember. It'll come to me. I know it'll come to me later. That's okay. All right. So next question. We got to get moving here. Okay. Because we can talk about this forever. Okay. Chaitali, this is going to be interesting. What is your favorite self-care practice? What you do to take care of you?
Oh, so it's a little bit threefold, I'll say. I walk. I have a big thing with being out in nature. I like the gym and all, but I have to go for my walk because it puts me in that meditative state, like I was saying earlier, where I get to process everything that's happening in my life. Mm-hmm. Then I meditate daily. My meditation may look different. Sometimes it's tapping, like we were talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just sitting quietly. Other times it's listening to drums. I don't know if you could see, I have a djembe drum here. And so I will listen to a drum or drumming, and it's journaling. The three combined helps me process everything and then helps me show up so that I can help the next person, so that I can show up in my power for even my for my family also, and to keep everything balanced. Because otherwise it could be too much in your head,
Yes, I do that feeling. I'm curious about the drums. Can you
elaborate on
more about that? Yeah.
Why the drumming? Because it reverberates. I am obviously very tactile. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing with tapping. I'm a huge fan. So there's different points on tapping, but your collarbone is one of them. Mm-hmm. And because it's a bone, I feel like it reverberates in my body. So it just breaks up the energy inside and it helps disperse it so that for example, sometimes if you have a lot on your mind, you can feel it in your shoulders, or if it's an emotional thing, you can feel it like right on your breastbone, your sternum. Mm-hmm. And it just sits there. It doesn't hurt, but it's just there and it's there. I feel like the tapping helps loosen it. The djembe drum helps loosen it, or just even hearing it, because it's the reverberation. It like vibrates through your body and it just helps loosen it. I'm sure, Julietta, you can better explain that, like the internal, how that happens.
No, I think you're explaining it perfectly well. But everything in life is frequency and vibration. And so drumming just has this on like a physical level that everybody can experience. A lot of the frequencies and vibrations out there are on a very subtle level and not everybody can tune into them. But the drumming is like something that everybody can feel. And, you look at, cultures across history. I mean, drumming has been a very spiritual, ceremonial component of so many cultures across time. And it's there for a reason. It's good for you. And we always talk about Insight Timer. I don't know if you've ever looked, Allison. If you go like to the music section, there is a drumming section. So you can go in there and just find drums to listen to. And it's great to listen to it on the headphones, but I can also plug that into my sound bed. And that is ridiculous.
A sound bed. So it's like a bed that has speakers in it?
Yeah, my treatment table in my office has two speakers attached underneath it, and it's connected to a special box that it has a computer chip in it that's cycling through all the healing frequencies. So I always make the joke, like, even if I suck as a physical therapist, my bed by itself can heal you.
That's awesome.
I'm telling you, there's something about that bed too in her office. You're almost drawn to it. Like the minute you walk in, it looks like a massage bed, right? I mean,
it is a massage bed,
yeah,
but it has speakers attached to it.
But you want to just go lay on it. Well, you also have it's got
the biomat on it, so it's got infrared, negative ions, crushed amethyst crystals.
So it's like the healing bed, right? Yes. So when you go on there, you're just like, oh,
you do too, and I can stay there all day. It's amazing.
That's fantastic.
Okay, so let me ask you guys a question, because I got you both here, and this is, we're conversation. So is the drumming almost like the Tibetan singing bowls? Is that the same idea? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I have one idea.
So in my yoga practice, one of the women that taught the yoga class, she was very into those. And she, at the end during Shavasana, she used to do a time period with the singing bowls. And I don't know what it was about that. I would come out of those classes and I was like, I feel like a totally new person. Like, that was incredible. And my son actually joined me one time that she did it. And he was like, that was so cool. And we walked out and we were talking to one of the other instructors, and she described it really well. She says, it's almost like when a dog gets an itch that they can't scratch, right? She's like, it feels like so good when you finally reach it. I'm like, right, that's how that feels. It's so crazy. But I talk about, to me, that's like all kind of sound therapy falls into that kind of, and I don't think we realize how important that is. And it's like both of you have said, so many of these things that have been used for centuries are finally catching up scientifically, I guess, because that's what so many people need to see. And there's so much out there that's been proven to work for such a long time, including the EFT, the tapping has been scientifically proven, and it's super accessible and it's incredible. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Our final question, and this question actually is based on, so when Juliet and I decided we were going to do this podcast, we realized that we really needed to do some research and talk to our ideal avatars a little bit about what they could really use support in. And one of the things that they all expressed, or majority of them expressed, was they struggle with accountability. So how do you, Chaitali, find accountability in your life? How do you hold yourself accountable? What can you share with us?
Oh, that's a really good question. So I'm not sure if you're going to love the answer, but honestly, it's a decision, and it's a decision I have to constantly make. It is really easy to be like, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to sit here and not do anything. I decide over and over again. And sometimes it's every 10 seconds. Like,
I was just in my head going, I decide. I decide. Yeah. It's come up before.
We're on such a wavelength here, Julieta. I can't wait to come back to Florida. We'll all have to meet in real life again. And,
yes.
And I'm going to come lay on that bed, but that's a whole different story. But you have to decide. And it is one of the hardest things I found for myself, because, again, it's easier to be like, it's easier to think that it's the control is outside of me. Mm-hmm. It's, oh, that person didn't do something, so I can't do anything right now. Or, oh, my husband said this to me. Or, oh, my children are going crazy. Mm-hmm. Yes, those are all valid reasons. But at the end of the day, I'm a woman of my word, and I decide time and time again. And like I said, even if it has to be every 10 seconds, I'm doing this. I said I would do it. I'm doing this. I said I would do it. And again, I'll tap it in if I really need that extra mental support or physical support, because I have nervous habits where I'll shake my leg anyways. So I'm like, okay, why not make this more useful? And I'll just go here. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're doing this. We're doing this. And that's how I shift the mental chatter. So I decide time and time again.
Okay, that just gave me chills, the I decide. Like, yes, so true. And it's not always easy. You're absolutely right. It's hard sometimes.
Yes.
Right? Allison, I decide we're going to do this podcast. Here we are.
And here we are.
But it's
all right. So let's wrap things up. So this is the part where we like to share our takeaways, something that really stood out to you, something that you're going to put into practice, whatever it is. And Julietta, we're going to start with you, my dear. What is your takeaway from today?
So it's kind of a weird takeaway for today. You know, I have singing bowls. I have, you know, the metal ones. I have a rose quartz singing bowl. I've got my table. I've got a lot of things, but one thing I've always wanted to have is a drum, and I don't have a drum. So my takeaway is this is a message from the universe. Get your drum already, Julietta.
That's awesome.
I love it.
What's your takeaway, Allison?
Okay, my takeaway, I got to have two today because it just is what it is. So my number one is I need to go on to Insight Timer, find the music section and check out the drums. Thank you for that, both of you, for putting that out there. And then my second thing is remembering that I decide and using that and making the decision to. And I love how you said it, Chaitali. You said, I'm a woman of my word. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And that is a lot of time what actually does hold me accountable. If I'm super tired or I just want to lay down, you know, working from home, I can go lay down on the couch for 20 minutes and I want to go do that. And I'm like, nope, I said I was going to do this and I've got to get it done and do it. So thank you for that. All right, Chaitali, what is your takeaway?
Oh gosh. My biggest takeaway is that I am not alone, actually, that there are more women like me out there and that I have to start sharing more of that side of me. Mm-hmm. Vulnerability is, I think it comes under curiosity because you have to be vulnerable to be open-minded and to be curious. But I am not a fan of vulnerability. I don't like that. It makes me feel very uncomfortable to be in this space where I'm like, oh, by the way, here's how I'm feeling today. But in sharing with both of you and in talking and sharing with your community, it's just, as Julietta said, it's the universe telling me that, hey, can you just start sharing more? Because there's more people who are like you or more people who need to hear how you did what you did. Mm-hmm. So I thank you both for that. And I thank your community for that. I appreciate that greatly.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And that is part of the reason we did this.
Yeah.
So often we doubt ourselves and what do I have to contribute? I'm nobody special. Mm-hmm. There is somebody out there that needs to hear what you have to say the way that you have to say it. Because, there could be 10 people giving the exact same message, but when it comes from their voice, their frequency, their energy, it resonates with different people. And so, it might only be one person out there that needs to hear it your way, but you will change their life by putting that out there. So I encourage all of you women to use your voice and share what's inside of you because it does matter. It is important. Someone needs to hear what you have to say. You will change their life.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Whoop. There we go. All right, ladies, this has been incredible. I knew that it would be awesome, as all of our guests are. And I thank you so, so much because I know this is a super busy week for you right now, Chaitali. So I'm really happy you could carve out a half an hour for us. But just so that all of our guests know, we will make sure that all of her information is in the show notes. We will drop it into the comments below, how you can connect with her, reach out to her, Facebook friend request her, because I know she's big on Facebook and Instagram. Definitely connect with her. You will be so happy that you did. And I just thank you, Julietta. Another awesome interview. And I'll see y'all later. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Have a magical day.